so it feels good to be driving my Camaro at high speeds, knowing that I don't get but hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Seek on the Speed 252. One thing I want to talk about that I just learned recently that I did not know about before I bought this car. So if you're actually watching this video, and this pretty much goes towards any car that have rotors with slots in it or with the dots in it, I guess technically, and just something I want to bring to your attention because I don't know if you know this. I mean, this is what I was told. This may be told to you all as well. And if it is true, this is good to know. If it's not true, you let me know. Leave the comments down below so I can kind of figure out what I want to do. But this is what I was told. So I took my car to the dealership recently because, you know, I had a catalytic converter change, had a couple other things changed, oil changes, things like that. And I talked to them about, you know, the brake pads, how much I hate the brake pads because, you know, how much dust it leaves, and I can't stand Brembo brake pads, even though I hear a lot of things, how great they are. And if you look at the rotors on this car and the rotors on the Z06, you have the slots in it, correct? And in my opinion at the time, I didn't know what these slots meant. I thought it was just for a cool factor, to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and make it sound like I knew what they were. Just like in the Z06, I mean, the rotors are humongous. And for all you have Z06s, you know how big those rotors are. And they had the little dots in it. And so I took it to the dealership and I asked them, you know, how much would it charge for you guys to change out these brake pads and put in ceramic brake pad, because I'm tired of dealing with the brake dust. I'm just tired of dealing with the brake dust. I'm tired of having to clean these wheels off every time I go somewhere. Granted, I can get my rims ceramic coated, which I probably will at some point to kind of limit some of the brake dust. I mean, it's still going to have brake dust, but it'd be a little bit easier to clean it off. Anyways, back to what I was told. As I was talking to him about, you know, changing out the rotors and the brake pads in this car, he said that he said I should wait and wear down these rotors and brake pads before I change out my brake pads. And I'm thinking like, well, why can't I just change out the brake pads now? He said, quote unquote, these rotors and these brake pads were designed to go with each other. And so once you change out the brake pads, most likely you need to change the rotors. I'm thinking like, well, you know, I had cars back in the day. I never had to do that. It's like, why do I always have to do it now? He said, with these slots, you can't resurface these rotors. They can't be resurfaced whatsoever. So you automatically have to change out the rotors and the brake pads every time you change the car. And I was like, wait a minute. So you tell me every time I wear my brakes out and my brake pads out, I have to change the rotors every single time? He was like, yes, you do. I had no idea that was the case before I bought this car. Like, I should have did a little bit more research because I'm the type of guy, I researched for 2 years before I bought the Corvette. But never once occurred to me that I would need to change out the brake pads and the rotors every time I, you know, wear down the brake pads. That's kind of expensive. Right at this moment, he didn't give me a price how much it would cost. So that information came from one of the guys that works on the cars in the back. And so it was mind blowing to me because I have owned cars in my day where if the brake pads wore out, all I have to do is just buy another set of brake pads, put them on, don't worry about it. Or I have to resurface the brake pads and I'd be good to go. For instance, in my Camaro recently, if I'm driving super fast and I'm at like maybe 75, 80 miles per hour, the steering wheel starts to shake. And then as I'm ready to go to an exit and I slow down on the brakes, all you hear is do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. In my head, I was thinking like, man, my tires are off balance or something like that. And you know, I took it to the dealership and they was like, no, your rotors need to be resurfaced. But my rotors don't have slots in it, so it was easy for them to resurface. Now when I drive that car, it rides a whole lot smoother. I don't have those issues anymore. And so it feels good to be driving my Camaro at high speeds, knowing that I don't get but I mean, I don't get that with this car at all. And even with the factory wheels on it, it drove great. It drove fine. It drives perfect on the track. I haven't had much track experience like Mr. Chuck has, but you know, this car obviously does do decent on the track from what I understand so far. But back to the rotors, it freaking sucks. So for all you that have, you know, slotted rotors and have the dots on your rotors, and if you don't know that you have to change those out every time you get them done, that is the case. I do know that one of my buddies actually went online to build him a Z06, and he decided that he wanted to go with ceramic brake pads and ceramic brake pads, which was fine. And then after he got done, you know, ordering his car, the dealership was like, you know, you got a nice little Z06 here, just letting you know that in order to change these brake pads out and rotors, it's going to be like, you know, $5,000 to $7,000. I don't know that's the exact price, don't quote me on that. That's something he told me, but now that does make sense. So you have to change out the rotors every time you change your brake pads. That sucks. So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about that information down in the comments down below. Do you think this is something that is true? Have you heard the same information? I mean, I have friends that have Mercedes that have slotted rotors as well. So I want to know, you know, if that's the actual case. And if you have to change your brake pads every time you change your rotors out. I know some of you all probably own Stingrays and Z06s in the past. And I'm just curious to know if there's something you have to do, because that's kind of frustrating. You know, I mean, that can get kind of expensive, and that makes me want to, you know, not track it as hard all the time because I don't want to actually put all that extra money into actually changing out my brake pads, to change out my rotors. Now, granted, I have driven this car pretty hard so far, stop and go on the drag strip, on the track a little bit, on normal day driving, and my brake pads thickness is still pretty much there, but I can't stand the brake dust, and that's why I was so eager to actually get them changed. And, you know, like I said in a video before, you know, the more brake dust you have, the better your pads are, is what I was told by someone else. So the thing I want to bring to y'all attention that I'm curious to know for all you out there that have the ceramic brake pads and the ceramic rotors, well, taking out ceramic rotors, but the rotors that go along with the ceramic brake pads. What do you all think if you have those in your car? I'm kind of curious because if they decided to have to wear down and I do have to change the rotors and the brake pads, I'm curious to know how well they work on the track, because obviously I don't have those brake pads, so I don't know exactly how well they perform on the track. Because I was told that they don't perform that well on the track. They're really catchy, and I heard that from a lot of people that have Z06s and Grandsports who decided to take off the current rotors and Brembo brake pads that came from the factory and put on ceramic brake pads. And you know, I heard it was very grippy, and so I'm kind of curious to know what you all think about those as well, because I do want to add them to my car at some point to kind of limit some of the brake dust, and I don't want to put on something that I don't think I'm going to be happy with. And so this is my way of reaching out to you all who currently have that maybe on their vehicle, of how well that the ceramic brake pads do work. I also heard that you have to, before you go on the track, every single time. Now, I don't know how true this is as well. That's why I'm, you know, kind of bringing this to everybody's attention, that before you go on the track, if you have brake pads that are ceramic brake pads, and the rotors that came along with it, you have to do like a 0 to 60 down the road at least, you know, 3 or 4 times before you can actually get on the track. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know why you need to do that, but I was definitely told that by a professional who actually worked on this car. You know, you can get advice from anybody. They could be wrong. They could be telling the truth. I don't know. So that's why I'm kind of reaching out to you all, because obviously, you know, at some point I do want to put this on the track. I do want to reach out to some of my subscribers who have Grandsports and Z06s who go to the track a lot and ride out with them. Mr. Truck, you're definitely one of them, buddy. So if I'm ever in your area, I'm going to let you know, because I want to come to the track with you. Same thing with, you know, Brink of Speed, Mr. Mike. I want to be on the track with you. Front Street Driver. I all want to be on the track with all you guys. So I'm definitely in the market at some point wanting to change out these brake pads and rotors if I have to do that. And I would want to know how well the ceramic brake pads and rotors work. I don't want to waste my money or waste any time changing them over if they're not great for the track, if it's not going to stop like I want to, because I'm not trying to deal with all those issues that's going to occur. Because I mean, it's a sports car, right? Like, you definitely want to take advantage of it. This is not a garage queen for me. I'm not going to let it sit in the garage and collect a lot of dust and say like, hey, yeah, I got a Corvette at home. No. I mean, by the time I'm done with this thing, it's going to have so many miles on it, it's going to just be like, at this point, I'm going to have to get a new one. Because I drive it all the time. The weather's nice, the sun is out. And why not drive something, you know? And so I'm just curious to know exactly how do you all feel about the ceramic brake pads and rotors if you actually have those in your car. Once again, thank you for watching. Remember, the YouTube call out is June 23rd. I'm gonna have a lot of people out there. Please come out and, you know, take full advantage of the day of the event. It's gonna be freaking awesome. I heard it was a nice track, a new track. I don't know much about it, but what I was told from Mike and Nick, this track is gonna be phenomenal. And obviously Mike gonna bring out his new Z01 out there. You know, Nick gonna bring out the crotch rocket. The Freedom Rocket is the name of it, actually. And so I'm gonna bring the Silver Bullet, and you know, you're more than welcome to challenge any of us to a race. I would love to take on some of my subscribers. I am not losing, by the way. I'm not losing. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have a great time. You all gonna have a great time. I'm gonna have a little booth set up, and you know, I'm looking to take photos and anything you guys ask and have a great time. Let's enjoy ourselves. So once again, if you are watching this and you have not subscribed to the family yet, please do. I would love to have you part of the community, because this is a community. Get out of the way, Buck. Crap. And I guess she likes the car as well. But anyways, please subscribe. Please be part of the family. I look forward to catching you soon. Have a great day. See you on Speed 252 is out.